And now, of course, for the one you've been waiting for, I promised this also right in the beginning. Yami Gautam will join me on the show. But before we do that, we have other things to do. So Comio, a brand new brand, comes in. This is a Chinese giant and it's coming into India. Some would say a little late. Some could say they really have tracked and prepared for this launch and really studied the Indian market. One of the two is, of course, going to be true. They chose Yami Gautam to be their brand launch ambassador, at least just for the launch part of it. And they came up with 3 new phones. Let's take a look at the launch. We'll take a quick look at the 3 phones and we'll review one of them.
The more the merrier. Yes, this saying holds true even for the smartphone market. Another Chinese giant, Comio, enters the Indian market, and in its debut, it has launched 3 phones at different price points. Comio P1, S1 and C1 priced at 9,999, 8,999 and 5,999 rupees respectively. While all the 3 phones feature massive 5000 mAh battery and run on the Android 7.1, the Comio P1 is the flagship phone of the company. So we have decided to review the P1 for you and decide whether it is the best buy if your budget is 10,000 rupees. Time to grill the P1. While we aren't fan of the naming convention, we like how Comio has kept it simple. The P1 sports a metal unibody design and textured frames which make it look quite chic. The device is a bit bulky, but don't forget it comes with a huge battery. This phone features a 5.2-inch HD IPS display, though we would have liked if Comio P1 packed in full HD to take on the competition. That said, the screen is nice and bright and the colors are vivid. The Comio P1 is powered by a quad-core processor and 3GB RAM. The phone packs in 32GB internal storage that can be expanded up to 128GB via a microSD card. We opened various apps on it, games, everything worked well with almost no lag. Talking about the optics, the Comio P1 has a 13-megapixel camera on the rear and an 8-megapixel front shooter for selfies. It did a great job in capturing photos in bright outdoors. It is capable of clicking with the bokeh effect, but it didn't work as well as expected. The camera struggled in capturing photos in low light, but overall decent performance by both cameras. The Selguru verdict. Priced at 9,999 rupees, the Comio P1 ticks all the check boxes of what a budget phone should have. And while it is missing the X factor, we believe it will still make its name in the overcrowded smartphone market.
3 phones launched today, a completely different segment, and of course this is a brand that people in India will not be familiar with, so it's great that you bring it in and people get familiar with it because of what you bring as credibility to the market. But what did you like about maybe the 3 phones as a general group, a particular phone or a feature?
I think the fact that for the first time a brand has in a very clean sort of a way demarcated the 3 categories, because I've not seen that happening. Even I had a question mark that what is this S1 and then C1 and P1, and I think the fact that they've in a very clean sort of a way distinguished the unique features of every series of the model, I think was very interesting. I felt I can pick up, like, I know being an actor what I need the most, although I need I think what in today's time, no matter what features, thousands of features also I think seem small. I think in today's time it's become a tech village now. Instead of a global village, it's a tech village we're living in. But I think I really loved it.
In a market that is now called the world's most aggressive mobile phone market, how do you plan to get it out? You did one great thing, you got Yami in, so now people will get familiar with it very quickly. But other than that, how do you think the perception of people is going to be? How do you break that first barrier of saying, oh no, one more?
Comio, as Yami mentioned, is very focused.
Okay.
We know which product market segment we want to play. We know our consumer. So all our communication will be around that. So we are talking about B and C class youth. We want to empower them. We are talking about how the internet can help them to grow in their career. We have hundreds of examples today where people have grown on the internet.
People would love to know, what is your tech life like? I mean, how do you use technology? Is it predominantly music? Do you do a lot of selfies? What do you use tech for?
Comes from my mom, or I don't know, that there's always has to be a certain restriction, so I don't really go all out there. Of course the selfies and your Instas and your Twitters are always tweeting around the entire day.
You do not post 14 times a day on Insta?
I don't. You would not know I've fallen off the chair. You would not know what I'm eating right now. You don't know that, oh, I'm right now.
Oh, so the one with the self-timer saying, take the picture at 1 o'clock, I'm asleep.
I do, but I think I like to play a little restrained. But having said that, even if I'm not active, we're always active. There is nothing that we don't know. There is nothing that, even if we say, okay, we don't know, everybody knows everything in today's time. And I think that's all on your palm.
True.
So for me, I think as an actor, it's a great deal. Anybody, I think, needs technology, so do I. But I know you're the tech guru and you are the pioneer when it comes to tech, so pardon me.
That big one to come.
So pardon me for saying this. I like to play a little under, I think, when it comes to that. So I don't know how under is really when I say that, but yeah, a little bit.
The phone is with you and the first selfie is magical, that you can actually be with whoever you want.
Right.
Anywhere in the world, any person.
Right.
Who would you take your first selfie with?
Your firsts of your life always become, say, very special. So for me, it would be Ben Affleck. I know people expect maybe sometimes very elegant and very intellectual answers from him. No, I'm not at all anything of that sort. I'm just being myself.
No, great. I mean, that's a great
very girly answer. It's got to be my first crush, which is Ben Affleck.
Is the first selfie. This one is, if you're stranded on an island.
Right.
Okay. What one thing and one person would you like to be stranded on an island with? Ben Affleck is done. You cannot be stranded with him. We already know that would be the answer. What's the one thing, one person?
Right. One person would be the person in my life.
Okay.
Okay. Which I can't name because I don't have any name right now.
So you're saying it's a dot.
Yeah, dot.
No, but maybe you're stranded tomorrow, so you have to choose somebody.
Maybe there is somebody.
Yeah, exactly. So we shall leave it to that. We will not be probing more.
Please do not give this content to any other channel.
Okay, so that's a hint for everybody else who will be quizzing or questioning her later. She said she may have somebody.
And you know, it might sound a bit primitive, but I don't know. I'm very fascinated when I watch those shows which tell us what those devices they used to have to connect with each other. Those you'd open that trunk just to make a call and all to someone. Which I'm sorry, all the fugitives and they all used to leave. Hello, are you there? Are you there? I'm just one of those. I don't know if it's one of the most intelligent answers, but I'm just being real.
Great, fantastic talking to you. Exactly what I was expecting. Great fun and
thank you.
Congratulations on being the face of the launch, and
thank you, Rajiv.
Congratulations to you also. From everything we hear, it's a great launch for you. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, that.